You're not the first person that happened to.
See how elegant that was?
Yeah,
And I saved the water.
I have the same shirt.
Good hand. You like it? There you go.
Okay, we are now joined by Coach Terry Moren and student athletes Shay Chesky and Maya Makaleski.
Got it.
At this time, Coach, if you'll go ahead and make an opening statement, then we'll turn it over for questions for the player.
Well, congratulations to a very, very talented Ohio State team. We will, certainly be cheering for them. Have a ton of respect for Kevin and his staff and players, and they're obviously excellent and very talented. We are certainly disappointed. I just think that, one of the things that Ohio State can do is they can, get you to, they speed you up. And, I thought in the first half and the second half, I will say this, I thought we got some really good shots. I thought we looked hurried a little bit in the first half. I thought we looked less hurried in the second half, but just still couldn't connect the way we needed to. You have to put points on the board in order to beat a team like Ohio State. And then we just didn't have enough to keep them off the offensive glass, which again, we knew going into it, there were certain areas that we just couldn't allow a lot of extra points, and it was off the rebounds, the free throw line, and off our turnovers. And so we are disappointed we weren't able to play as clean and as well as we wanted to today. But again, as I said to our players, still really proud of the fight that they showed all the way to the very end, and particularly here in the last month. This is a team that's gone 7-3, so they've stuck together, and we're leaving here. I am at least very proud of our group and how they've managed to stick together and stay connected here.
Okay, we're going to open it up for questions for the players, and we want to remind you that each time you ask a question, we ask that you give your name and affiliation because of the transcription service that we have, and we need to put it in the transcript. So we're going to go one over here in the second row, second one back there. Go ahead.
Sammy Jacobs from Hoosier Huddle. For the players, what can you take? Terry mentioned the last 10 games. What can you take and build off of it to the future?
Yeah, I think for sure. Obviously, having a team that's very young and out of the portal, I think it shows the grittiness that Coach Moren has installed in Indiana women's basketball. And I'm proud of the team. I'm proud of the way that obviously we continue to fight till the end. But I think just the overall grit. Nevaeh and I getting those reps, Coach putting that trust in us. So having that confidence over this year will definitely help.
Next question.
Dylan Beach from the Hoosier Network. Shay, obviously there's still some uncertainty about maybe postseason plans, maybe a WNIT game, but if this is your last game in an Indiana uniform, what's your message to your teammates and the future Hoosiers coming in next year to carry this program further?
Man, I could probably say a lot, but I guess the first thing that comes in my mind is just to keep working. That's what I pride myself on. That's the foundation of my game. Is just to work hard, to outwork your opponent. And I think that, I tried my best to show this group that, you can kind of do anything you set your mind to, and, the adversity hit us, and all we did was just put our head down and work even harder than, at the start of the season. And obviously you've seen that through our wins. But yeah, just to, tell the girls to work hard, and not everything's going to be handed to you. Not everything's going to be easy. The 4 years, you're going to face a lot of adversity, more than you think. And it's just how you respond to that is what really matters. Mm-hmm.
Second row, then third row.
Lou Friedman, Seymour Tribune and A-Media. I was going to ask something similar to Dylan's, but so a modification of that would be, where do you see, for Shay, where do you see yourself being next season?
Yeah, I see myself playing pro. I'm a firm believer in the work that I put in to get here. I think I had a phenomenal senior season, and there's not much more I could have done to try to set myself up for the next level. So, I have high confidence in myself and in the future, and I think wherever God takes me, that's my plan, that's my purpose. So yeah, I'm just gonna kind of wait to see what the future holds, and obviously see the draft. And see where I fall, but I think my work ethic's going to take me, wherever I need to be.
Dwayne Marcus, Basketball Society. Shay, I noticed your shirt when you walked in.
Yeah.
How important is your faith to you, one, and then two, how are you able to kind of stay grounded in that over the course of the ups and downs of a strenuous season?
Yeah, my faith is very important to me. That's the reason why I'm here. I highly doubt without the faith of Jesus Christ that, at 5'7", from a suburban town in Buffalo, New York, that I'm sitting here right now talking to you guys. That is Jesus working. But I think that it's a strong foundation to have your faith in God when you're going through adversity. And every person, whether you're a basketball player or just normal person living, you're gonna face trials. And I think, having foundation in something so strong that you believe in is important, and that's how you're going to get through it and be better from it. And my foundation is the Lord.
Okay, last question for the players.
R11 from Dream Big. For Maya, over the last few weeks, how have you kind of felt yourself adjusting to the game at this level?
Yeah, obviously with Shay being the great player she is, and Lene, we need people that can help kind of relieve the pressure off of them, but it doesn't happen without my teammates finding me and installing that confidence in me. My teammates throughout the year have been helping me continue to get more and more confident to shoot those shots, which has definitely helped me get more confident along the way leading to that.
All right, ladies, you are dismissed. You can go back to the locker room. At this time, raise your hand if you want to ask Coach Moren a question. We have limited time. I'm just letting you know.
Good job.
We have a limited time, so go ahead, Steve.
Terry, Steve Strimming, XL Sports. Yesterday, you came from way back, played 6 players. How much do you think the lack of depth really affected how you did things today?
Yeah, it did. There's no doubt about it. And we're going to have to, moving forward, we're super excited about the freshman, class that we have coming in here to Bloomington next year. I think they will provide some depth. We're going to have to do some work here in the spring, I think in the portal as well. But there's no doubt that you can't play in a league like the Big, and you can't play in a tournament like this or the NCAA tournament without it. And, I felt like it showed up. It reared its ugly head, especially, I think, with kids like Nevaeh tonight. We rely so much on her. Even Bo and Shay's put a lot of mileage on her legs as well. So it did affect us tonight. There's no question.
Second question.
Max Schneider, Indiana Daily student. How did Ohio State? How were they able to stop you from coming back to compete in the second half compared to against Nebraska?
Well, I mean, they're just, their press in itself really is disruptive. It slows you down. It takes you out of any kind of offensive flow, offensive rhythm, right? And unless you can get a hit ahead to a layup, they do such a great job of recovering and getting back, and then they force you to have to play in the half court as well. And they switch everything. They're, like I said, they're disruptive. They got to balls way faster than we did, even those loose balls. They're terrific. When you think about Ohio State, you think about, first and foremost, their pressure. It's outstanding.
Go ahead.
Sammy Jacobs from Hoosier Huddle. What went into the decision to keep Bo in with the third foul there with, I think, 4:20 left?
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, we trust Bo to stay in there, and it didn't quite work out for us. But we just felt like we had to have our best players on the floor, in order for it not to get too out of touch for us. And so, having Bo in there, she's another scoring threat for us. Although, again, she struggled tonight on both sides of the ball. But she is somebody that we really count on. And so we just felt like we could trust her, and we needed her in the game.
Lou.
Lou Friedman, Seymour Tribune. Would you welcome a call, an invitation from the WNIT?
Yeah, you know what, Lou, we haven't even thought about, that. We've really, honest to goodness, have just put our head down, and we just focused on especially finishing out the season, the way we wanted to finish it out, because we wanted to get into the tournament, this tournament, the Big Ten tournament. And then our focus has just been on the Big Ten tournament. So those are discussions that we'll have when we get back to Bloomington here in the next week or so. But it'll certainly, I will weigh in with Shay for sure, and Journey to see sort of what their interest level is going to be in that. But we're a little bit beat up, so I don't know what they'll decide. But for some of those kids, we got some end of the season things that we gotta get them healthy.
Okay, we got time for 2 quick questions. Go ahead.
The Hoosier Network. Coach, it's been a whirlwind of the season, the highs and the lows, especially the highs,
Sure.
going 6-2, ending the season. What have you personally learned from your players, and what would you say about this iteration of this Indiana Hoosier team?
Well, again, we, as I said to them in the locker room, just the resilience that they've shown has been, especially in the last month, has really been remarkable. I mean, this is a group that, when you start the season, the Big Ten season off the way we did, I mean, it would be easy to just kind of throw the towel in. And we didn't do that. I've said it multiple times in the media that this group has continued to show up every day to Cook Hall, to Assembly Hall, and they're willing to work, and they're willing to fix things that needed fixed. They're willing to be great students when we're in film. And I do feel like, again, it might not have been the season that all of us have been accustomed to around here, but there have been some wins in terms of our improvement. I do think we've had great improvement. I think for Maya in Nevaeh, they've gotten great reps, for the future here. And so, I'm not satisfied at all in this season, and I think our players would echo that as well. But I am proud. I am proud of what we fought. We continue to fight, and that's what I'm most proud of. We're looking forward to. I think we got a really, really bright future. I'm excited about our incoming kids. I'm excited about the kids that have gained great experience here at Indiana, and I think again we're going to get this thing back on track, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Okay, last question.
Jay Sotsky, the Hoosier Network. Beginning of the year, you had pretty much nobody who had played for you outside of, Shea Chesky for the most part. Going into next year, you now have 2 big freshmen who've started good portions of the year.
Sure.
Lene Beaumont, who in the locker room was saying this
we can
was
call her a freshman.
essentially her freshman year.
Right.
Going in, you now have 3 leaders who have played a full season under you. How does that affect your confidence for next year with them?
Yeah, as I mentioned to this gentleman, I mean, I think the future is very, very bright, and with the addition of our incoming class that we have, and certainly we'll look at the portal to get the right pieces that are going to fit what we do and how we do things here at Indiana. I'm really excited and looking forward to what's next for Indiana women's basketball.
Coach, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.